she is in a position of power. She's like the heir to the queen position
Hmm.
in her country, who serves basically on a council. And right after her coronation, the events of the story begin. And demons invade the land. Hey, demons, you would enjoy.
Hey.
Though you would not enjoy, because I've actually tried to salvage it a little bit and
Hmm.
rewrite her to be a more interesting character with a more interesting character growth later on. And it was kind of healing for me too, because it was like I was healing my inner teen of like, I know you were suffering and having a rough one, but guess what? You turn out to be, you go through that character growth in real life.
Good
And it's awesome.
morning. Welcome to Chattalyst. Oh,
Morning.
it's finally cooled down at least. Has it cooled down for you guys over there?
Yes, it has. Though it's always annoying because it gets cool over the weekends and then it gets hot over the weekdays. And that means I can't get my students outside without them boiling alive.
Oh,
I was able to do some outside activities yesterday, though. It was pretty decent, especially in the morning. So
yeah.
it's nice. Yeah. I think I should start writing down some funny student stories to tell on the pod. I can think of one off the top of my dome if you want to hear it.
Sure. Why not?
Okay. Oh, and am I unmuted?
You are unmuted. I made sure.
Yay! Awesome. So um I have some middle school boys coming in, and the one is very perturbed at the other, and explains like like snitches get stitches, and
Oh.
that you can't be telling on people, or you could get beat up. And the other kid gets pissed and is like, "You're gonna beat me up? Let's go." And another kid's like, "No, no, I'm saying I could beat you up." And I was just like, "Oh, it was so annoying."
In
And
theory, it could
they
happen.
just went back and forth. And we had some more staff try to stop and mediate it, and be like, "Okay, listen, people don't like to be snitched on or called out. But we also need to work on our phrasing, because if you say I could beat you up, what the other person hears is
I'm
I
gonna
want to
beat you
beat you
up.
up. I'm going to beat you up." So it went back and forth, and we're just like tearing our hair out, like, just stop. Thankfully, they mostly seem to resolve it. They're still not each other's favorite person,
Yeah,
but they didn't come to blows. And for that, we can be grateful.
that is good. Yay. You didn't have to deal with a fight already in the new
I
school
know,
year.
right? My little elementary students are doing a lot better than last year as well,
Aw.
because we have a new teacher that is doing a fantastic job with them. And last year they would only do 20 minutes of PE, and then the other group of them would come and do 20 minutes. But this year they come for the full 40 minutes.
Mm,
And they still have tantrums. They still have little kid tantrums.
as they
but
do.
they're but they're making it through to the other side, and that's making my heart very happy. I'm very proud of them, and hopefully that continues into next week.
That's good. You have a 3-day weekend then, don't you?
I do. I do, thank God.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I wish you could have the same.
I wish I could have nice things. My day job's stupid. I don't like
Yeah.
it. Oh well.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm going on a out outing picnic, little picnicky get together outside on Sunday,
Oh.
and it's like, oh okay, with my in-laws. So it's like nice. That'll be fun.
Ah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Getting a little
Um.
time.
Yeah, I need to douse myself with sunscreen though, and I think I might actually bring the parasol this time in case it's
Ooh, yes.
sunny.
An excuse to have a cute parasol.
An
So
excuse
I was
to.
gonna suggest a hat, but parasol's even cooler.
I don't have any cool. big hat. I mean, I used to have a witchy
Yeah.
hat, but I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah.
Um, but I have a big like sun hat that my mom gave me, and it's fine for gardening. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily want to wear it out in my normal day to day.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, the hat that I have is also not too stylish. I thought about getting the straw hats, but I ended up going with more of a it looks like I'm going on a safari hat. And that's what my
Oh,
students call it when I put it on at work.
your safari hat.
Yeah. I actually stopped bringing it to work because I figured my students mostly don't have hats. They are
No.
allowed to have hats, but they mostly don't. And so I kind of figure if they can't handle being able to see or the heat, then like I'll be able to tell because I'm not gonna be wearing a hat either.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's fun. Just don't burn yourself too much. It's supposed to get hot again next week. But a nice chill weekend. 70s only.
Yes, I was like
Yay.
walking around with Kellen this morning and it was such perfect weather. A delivery driver came up past us to deliver something to the house behind us and he was fascinated and he started running to follow the car, watched the person get out, deliver it, and just stood transfixed and the car started going the other way and he turned around and ran back to follow it the other way.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he got to play outside until he refused to hold my hand on the sidewalk, and then I scooped him up and took him in, kicking and screaming.
Yep. Yeah,
And I
that
was
sounds
like,
about
"Well,
right.
that's too bad, bud. Maybe next time hold my hand on the sidewalk." Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, we had was it when it was really hot Monday, I think it was. There was a fire nearby here.
Oh, damn.
It was something about a near a rail building or on a rail building, I don't remember. But
Mhm.
um come to find out the debris just ended up like in a bunch of yards. So I just had like
Ugh.
chunks of ashen debris in my yard that I was just like picking up like, all right, well, I
Oh
hope
my
this isn't
gosh.
hazardous.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, when an incident like that happens and everyone else has to clean up after it. That sucks.
I I made the mistake. I went through the Facebook comments on like a post about it because I was reading up. I was just like, what the frick even happened? Um, and somebody was like, "Where's this debris that people are complaining about in their yards?" And I'm like, just because it's not in your yard didn't mean it didn't happen. I almost, if I hadn't have deleted it from my phone, I almost like posted a picture under their comment to be like, "You mean this debris? The debris that's clearly here." Whatever.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah, no,
people.
I always forget to follow up when I see something crazy and like look it up. Because, of course, when it's happening, oftentimes there isn't news about it. Like
No.
a few months ago, we came home and there was a lot of police cars, which isn't usual for our area. There was one in our kind of area, and there was a ton at the intersection and a ton across the street at
Mm.
the little suburb over there. Um, and so we're of course a little freaked out because there's lights and craziness. And of
Mm.
course I tried to like look up to see if there's anything about it, but while it's happening, no one's written about it. So I should have looked up the following day. I bet there would have been news about it and I could have found out, but maybe I don't want to know. Maybe I don't want to know what went down there.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Depending on the number of police cars, it probably wasn't great, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
never good when you need that many police cars.
Ear update. They've been interesting to get used to.
Ear update. Ear
Ear
update.
update. Yep. Yeah, they've been weird to get used to. I don't know. I'm experimenting to see if the left one is faulty. Because the right
Uh-oh.
one, yeah. Especially with how much money I had to pay for them.
Yeah, no, if it doesn't work right, you gotta get that fixed.
Yeah. But it could have charged incorrectly before I went to work the other day. But it died like 3 hours in. And I'm like, why? Okay.
Mm. Hmm.
And
Concerning.
yeah, and so I have them plugged in, and I haven't gotten to test them super long. And I might use a different outlet, is what the guy suggested. Is like, sure, we'll see if that works, whatever.
Mm.
Um, but it was still in the when I went to plug them in last night. That one was still red, whereas the other one was yellow. So it is still dying faster than the right one. So I don't.
Hmm.
I'll just have to. Yeah. So he was like, oh yeah,
Your
the
left
it.
ear is just sucking all the energy from it
Right.
for itself.
Yeah.
It's the only possible explanation.
Um. So yeah, if that is an issue, then it means they'll have to take them back in and they'll have to get me a new pair, which means they'll probably have to be without hearing aids again for a bit. And I'm like, I don't.
I know. Oh, yeah, that's the worst is when you're like, oh, damn, the thing I have is faulty. If I return it, that means I won't have it for until they can get me a replacement.
Yeah,
Really
pretty much.
sucks. Yeah.
Oh well. Hopefully it would happen as quickly as the first set came in, but also I would
Hmm.
like not faulty equipment.
Yeah, especially when you are dependent on it for your hearing.
Yeah, yeah. And I did ask the insurance question, by the way, and they were like, "Oh yeah, no, we don't
They
work
don't
with
take any.
insurances because they're turned down so often. We don't bother trying anymore." And I was like,
That's so
"Awesome,
fucked. That's really
awesome."
fucked. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I thankfully I've been more comfortable at work because I just bought a bunch of leggings that I find more comfortable. And so my old leggings would compress my stomach in a way that I would feel like
Oh,
pain for the rest of the day. But I got some ones that like just have the waistband at the top and are looser for the rest of it. And they're more comfy. So,
nice.
yeah, I'm more comfy at work. I also took the back of my walkie since I just shoved my walkie into my leggings pocket.
Hmm.
I unscrewed the little clip on the back, and so it's now flush with my leg, and it doesn't dig into my thigh. And it's like, oh, more comfort achieved.
Well,
Thank
that's
goodness.
good.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I've been still pretty stressed with my lesson planning because I'm still like getting used to being back at work and like the usual issues that my students have. But right now we're getting more attendance from students in PE than we did last year. It's pretty early days. It's the first week. So I'm really hoping teachers are getting more prep time and but yeah, it's been a pretty good first week back at school. I think we are kind of in the honeymoon period. We kind of have that um when students come back to school. Sometimes we have it when they come back from breaks. And
Hmm.
then once that ends, we can end up getting some more behaviors. And I think kids were starting to realize, "Oh, dang. I don't really want to be at school by Friday because on Friday we had a lot more escalations and it was like, oh, yep, no,
Oh,
they're starting it's starting to hit them to be like, oh man, we really are back at school. Damn.
they'll get used to it eventually, hopefully.
They
I'm
will. And
sure.
for a lot of them, there are things they like about being at school that they don't get at home.
Hmm.
And so even though there are that they're asked to do tasks they don't want to do. For a lot of them, like it's the only place they really get to hang out with other kids their age and have some sense of like normalcy in their day, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you gotta take the bad with the good on that one, unfortunately.
I guess since we're talking about it, let's talk about our school days, shall
Sure,
we?
let's do it. Do you want to start with elementary? I mean, it's been so long, we probably have vague memories, but we could tell what we
Yeah.
remember.
I had some wild teacher names from elementary, or at least one.
Really?
Yeah. Um. What? Okay. I think there were two. So there were Yingling and Spiropolis.
Oh, that's an excellent last name.
It is, except when you're trying to spell it and you're like 8.
Yeah, if I was a third grade teacher and I had that last name, I would probably change it for them, you know?
Yeah.
Like, go by Miss or Mrs. S. We have a teacher like that at my school that goes by Miss K because her last name's a little hard to pronounce.
We have somebody. When was she? I want to say it was high school. Oh God, it was either high school or it was elementary school. I'm trying to remember the hallway, and I'm trying to remember which. I think it was elementary school. I don't remember. But anyway, one of the teachers went by ZK because her last name was Zola Claus.
These
So
are some
she
epic
abbreviated it.
names. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's a
Yeah.
good one to
She was like,
abbreviate.
just ZK. That's fine. Like, all right, cool.
I had a very sweet kindergarten and first grade teacher, I remember. I remember that I was a little boy crazy, I guess, when I was in
No.
K through first. And there was this kid my age called Max, and I would literally chase him around the playground. He was a good sport about it, honestly. We were friends, even though I, yeah, definitely pursued him as a 5 to 6 year old.
I mean, I did that in middle or in elementary school too at some point. I don't remember
Oh
what grade
yeah,
I was in, but I like
oh
kissed the
yeah.
cheek of one of my guy friends at the top of a slide, and he like ran away. And it's like, yeah,
Yep.
that's about right.
That's what you do. That's what you do when you're in elementary school. I remember I think this was in second grade-ish. We started a little like trading depot. So I went to kindergarten, first grade, and second grade in Virginia. And our
Oh,
school was on the grounds of a place. We had a lot of little quartz rocks. So we'd go
okay.
find little pieces of quartz and dandelions and stuff like that. And then we would trade them around at recess and have fun with it. It was a good time. And then we moved to Minnesota for half a school year, and I made some friends there. I actually stayed pen pals with one of the girls I went to school with there for maybe a year and a half afterwards. But it really sucked to just leave after half a school year. And then we moved to
Yeah.
Oregon for the next half a school year. And that's when I wrote a bunch of short stories about pond snails.
Why
I've
pond
read some of
snails
them on stream.
specifically?
It started with an assignment. We all got like Pacific Northwest animals and we wrote a little
Okay.
piece about them. And I was like, I like this snail. I'm attached to this snail. And I wrote 20 more stories about him. Um, so yeah, I started kind of a little writing club with some friends there.
What was his
Um
name?
the pond snail? His name was Pokey the pond snail, Chelsea. I still have the writing somewhere. They could put it back in my stuff. I've shown some of the illustrations that I had along with it on stream too.
Oh,
And I would like draw little snails in the borders around. I have some that are handwritten and then I typed some of them up and printed them off. Uh so yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
cute.
Yep. And then yeah, in we moved here
Yeah.
once I hit fourth grade and I got to stay here. Though, because we had moved around so much, I kind of was under the assumption that we would just move again after a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And it really sucked. Now, like, I think that my parents just had us a little young. Like, my dad was still kind of figuring out because he would jump from tech job to tech job.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just because he didn't enjoy where he was working or like was hoping for something better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was trying to find something, that paid better. Even before I started school, like before we moved to Virginia, I did preschool at a different place in Oregon. And before we were there, and when I was like 3, I don't remember that. We were in California. And when I was like 2 or 1, we were in Texas. So like my
Jeez.
thankfully by the time I was in 4th grade, my dad must have gotten a remote job, which is why he was like, okay, I'm good because he can
Yeah.
switch remote jobs without having to move us across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. So I'm glad my younger siblings didn't have to deal with that quite as much as I did. because by the time they started school, we were mostly settled down in one place.
That's good.
But thank you, Dad, for after we moved here, staying here. I
Yeah,
really
that's
appreciate it.
crazy. Dang.
Yeah, so that's how my elementary school days went, and I was really lucky because Sam and Lacey adopted me once I moved here, and so I
Oh,
got to have them as friends. I got to be adopted into their friend group. So
nice.
yeah.
I got to stay. I had like the opposite experience. I was at, well, I guess there was a place in Siletz that I went for a little bit. I don't remember if that was, I think that was kindergarten. It had to be some sort of
Hmm.
kindergarten or very, very young grade that I don't
Hmm.
remember very well. Um, but yeah, then when we moved and we stayed in the town that I grew up in, it, which was, I think the same town that Red grew up in. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's Washougal. Nobody knows where that is, so it's fine. Um, yeah, I was there, and I went to the same elementary school, and I grew up with all the same kids all through schooling, and we would watch like a handful of them move away, and then a
Right.
handful of new ones come in, but
Yep.
mostly it was the same ones. So that was an interesting experience because yeah, you got to see other kids also grow up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's definitely pros and cons to that because once you get known for something, it's very hard to get rid
Yeah.
of that because
Mm-hmm.
everyone just that's what they know about you. I know Alex had a close friend move away, I think late elementary school or maybe early middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So he had that in reverse happen to him. Yeah. In fourth and fifth grade, I wrote a couple novellas, I guess,
Ooh.
about deer as the main characters.
Okay.
Because I was doing a ton of, fourth and fifth grade reading,
Hmm.
the Warrior Cat series, Gardens of Gahul, and other books. And so I centered it around powerful gems.
Ooh.
Um, and I think the first one I wrote was called The Pansy Jewel, which sounds really funny because
Yeah.
the main character's name was Pansy and like the
Okay.
jewel was hers, yeah.
That
And
makes
so
sense then. Yeah.
yeah, no, it makes more sense. But yeah, no, I had a thing for unfortunate naming. uh I remember I wrote a short story when I was in like first or second and showed it to my mom. And I don't know if I've told the story on stream. I don't know if you've heard it before. But I named the teacher in it like Mrs. Lusty because I just thought it was just a random sound. I just thought that they were just random sounds put together. And so
Sariah.
yeah, no, it's really unfortunate. My mom gently told me, "Oh, like, can you change the teacher's name?" And I said, "Oh, like, could I change it to just like Mrs. Lust?" And she's like, "No,
No.
I think you should change it to something else." And I was so miffed by it all that I was like, "I'm done. I'm not working on this anymore." Because I didn't understand. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. Yeah, looking back on it, like, oh my gosh, now I kind of want to see what the other one. I think I still have them in my do I have it? Oh, I might not. Oh, I don't think I have it in Google Drive. I think I only have these ones printed out.
Mm.
Yeah, because I'm sure that the other ones probably have unfortunate names as well.
I didn't start my writing until
Hi, Rooney. Rooney, do you want to contribute to the stories?
until middle school. Yeah.
Gotta take care of the dog.
Barking out a whole lot of nothing.
That's his job.
Whole lot of nothing every time.
That's right.
Oh man. Um. Yeah. No. I didn't start my writing until middle school, and I think I'm trying to remember the first book I wrote. It has been fantasy the whole time. That I do know. So God, what was it? I think it was a girl who like got lost in the woods and ran into somebody who like lived in the woods, and it had some sort of witchy undertones, like they were running from some witch that was hunting her down. And this was middle school. So my teacher was like, "Huh, okay, cool." But also encouraged me to still write. Like she was impressed that I'm pretty sure I was like 10 or 11 or something. So she's like, keep at it and then we'll see. And then yeah. And then in my last grade there, what is high school? High school is 9 through 12, right?
Yep.
Okay, so 8th grade. I had a teacher who I hated middle school. By the way, forewarning,
That's fair.
absolutely hated middle school. Elementary
Yeah.
school was fine. In high school,
Yeah.
even though there was drama around me, and sure there's a little bit of high school drama, I preferred high school over middle school. But my writing teacher would make us read and write about history on top of learning history, and I hated it. So I have like a
Mm-hmm.
vendetta against history. I know it's important,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to repeat it. So like I'm
Yeah.
knowledgeable of it.
The way that the
Hate
class
it.
was taught was just not fun.
No. Uh,
I can really ruin a subject for you.
in Washington, we have the Wassel, or we had the Wassel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's still a thing.
It was the
Um,
WASL, then it was like the S, or it was like the MSP, then it was the SBAC. And I
yeah.
should know the name. I think it's still called the SBAC. I should know this. I'm a PE teacher. I don't have to administer those tests. Thank
um,
God. They suck.
they do.
No
But
one likes
during
them.
the Wassel, he made us do our writing portion about history, and it was like, bro, I'm gonna fail this. But I ended up with a D in that class. I told my mom to switch me to the other middle school. The second I got in there, I was like, this isn't gonna go well. You should switch me. Also, a couple of my friends had gone up to the other school, so I was like, you should just let me go that way. And she didn't. And then in
Hmm.
that class, I got two C's and a D, and I was like, I told you. I
Yeah.
warned you.
Yeah. No, it's true. Unfortunately, like at least in pretty much most middle schools, you have one option when you're taking like a subject in a grade.
Yeah.
Sometimes two. Sometimes there's two teachers that offer the same. But yeah, in college, obviously, at most colleges, if they're big colleges, you can drop a class and take it from a different professor.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it sucks. It sucks when you don't connect with a teacher. They teach it
Yeah.
in a way you don't like. I only had really one experience like that in K through 12, and it was my ninth grade English teacher. I did not vibe with him. He
Mm,
was very crass. He was very like overly direct. Like had almost like a he would neg us, I guess, for lack of a better term.
mm,
He was not my vibe. I think maybe he was other people's cup of tea. I hated him.
yeah.
I'm still got good grades in his class cuz you know, it was fine, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I
not a fan of that.
I didn't get along with this teacher either. He was, I don't know, he was kind of a dick.
Yeah. I do not like it when teachers are like too much of a dick. You can have like a teasing relationship with your
Hmm.
students, but you have to do it in a positive way and be very careful and cautious. Like one of my mentor teachers when I was in teacher training had a silly thing where, and he would do it to several of the students. It wasn't just one, and it was always like someone that enjoyed it.
Oh,
He would
okay.
call them by the wrong name on purpose repeatedly, and it
Ah,
was a funny joke. He'd be like, "Oh, Alicia," and she's like, "No," and he's like, "Oh, that's right, you're Emma," and she's like, "No," and so it would be like a funny
yeah.
joking thing that everybody was on board with. Like it, you have to be really careful with that, and like I've accidentally said things that I realized later seemed like I was calling out the kid in front of the whole group
Oh,
and did not mean it that way. And so I
yeah.
always try to apologize to them after. I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. Like I did not mean it like that." And generally if I'm going to like say something to a student, I really try to go over and quietly tell them
Hmm.
cuz like when you say something to a kid in front of all their peers,
It's
even if
not
they
good.
slightly construe it as negative, like that really like hurts their relationship with you. So you
It
have to be
does.
really careful about that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't like physically fight, but with my words fought like the majority of my
Hmm.
middle school teachers. I
Yeah.
liked my art teacher. And I guess middle school is also where I took choir. I took choir for like my 8th grade year,
Oh,
and that
fun.
was it. Or I took choir, I took band. Or maybe it was elementary school I took choir. No, I did take choir in middle school because we sang songs from The Lion King
Oh, that's fun.
in the native language of the songs of The Lion King. So that was fun to
Okay, that's
learn
challenge.
too.
That yeah, that's a whole level of challenge there.
Yeah, it was great and it sounded fantastic. I had to go sing with the guys, and I'm like, okay, sure. Um, yeah, no, that was fun. But no, my art teacher, shout out Mr. Yee. He followed me from middle school to high school, so I just had him for like 7 to 8 years of all of my schooling. It was great.
I bet it was cool for him to watch you and your peers progress.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, I know all
like
these kids.
show you your drawings from like 6th grade, and then be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, yeah, no, we've improved a little since then."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No. And high school was just good. I had Japanese class. I had
me too.
Fuchigami Sensei. She was my favorite. And then all of my regular, like, I almost said homeroom teachers, but like the reading, writing,
Academic classes.
yeah,
Yeah.
those were all fine. My history teacher was an interesting case because he was just, I had history at like 9 a.m.
Hmm.
and he had this deep droning
Oh
voice. It just
no,
like dragged on, and I'm like, oh
pushing
my
you right to
god.
sleep.
So in that class is actually where I started writing again.
Yeah, might as well just do it for yourself.
Well, I wrote, actually, that's the first time I wrote in a book to completion. Um,
Nice.
and one of my friends was very mad at me because I killed the main character at the very end of it.
Mm.
And she was
Mm-hmm.
like,
Valid.
no. And I was like, it's important though. She's like, no.
That'd be my reaction as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Though
They,
there are a couple books that have had that as the ending that I was like, yeah, no, that was okay, and I still felt satisfied by the ending because of other reasons.
mm,
But it can be hard. That's a pretty emotional ending to a book.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
No, I did have like a small group of friends who were all reading it, and then they would all want chapter updates. So then I would have to hand one of them a chapter, and then once they finished it, I would have to hand the next one the chapter and be like, "Here you go." Yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. And then my middle school teacher, the reading, writing, history one, came in at one point and was like, "Oh yeah, I wrote a book, by the way." It's just like
Yeah.
as a huge bragging point. It's like, uh-huh, and I also almost failed your class, but whatever. Um,
Worth. I feel like yeah, middle school and early high school was a really special time to be writing and sharing my writing. My siblings would we would all share our writing with each other, and
oh
we also had
yes.
some other friends that liked to write. I We even started a little writing club. I think like my eighth, ninth grade year, and we'd share each other's writing. And there were some people's writings of my friends that I really enjoyed reading. Like, I mean, yours much later on was an
Oh
example
yeah.
of like, oh my gosh. So it's like it's a very social aspect, and that's what really motivated me to continue writing. And from about I think seventh to like ninth, 10th grade, I wrote two novellas that are super depressing because the main character um, was super depressed and anxious, like I was at the time, and
Ah.
so she has the lowest self-worth, but also like she is in a position of power. She's like the heir to the queen position
Mhm.
in her country, who serves basically on a council. And right after her coronation, the events of the story begin. And demons invade the land. Hey, demons, you would enjoy.
Hey.
Though you would not enjoy, because I've actually tried to salvage it a little bit and
Mhm.
rewrite her to be a more interesting character with a more interesting character growth later on. And it was kind of healing for me too, because it was like I was healing my inner teen of like, I know you were suffering and having a rough one, but guess what? You turn out to be, you go through that character growth in real life. And it's awesome. So yeah, though it is funny rereading it because you see all of the plot lines and stuff that don't quite make sense. Uh
Yeah.
and I really did like living in that world, and I spent a lot of time thinking and imagining in that world. So it was fun to experience and fun to share with people. So I have no desire to finish rewriting it, or yeah, no, it was fun while it lasted, but all my siblings heard about it a lot
Oh,
in
yeah, I'm
those
sure.
years. And I would read their writings. I think Rachel's stories were some of my favorites to read. Hers were very abstract, like you kind of had to read between the lines. Some of them were very dreamlike. She
Mhm.
would include a lot of like people falling from the sky as part of her stories, and robots as main characters. So shout out to Rachel for producing some really cool pieces of writing. And my sister Megan would write some really interesting. Hers kind of remind me of like kind of like, I hope I'm not doing this as a disservice, Megan, but like your villain would be kind of like cartoon villain, and your main
Okay.
character, I liked her main character because her main character was in her 30s, which was
Nice.
unusual for us writing characters. Um and she was like magical and like doing a ton of like adventurous things. So I really
Did
enjoyed reading her
she
work as
write
well.
like an adulty adult, and then now that you're like close to 30, or in my case, in your 30s,
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
no, they don't got their shit
Yeah.
together.
It's very satisfying reading people's writing because you get such a window into the way they think and
Yeah.
perceive the world. And in my case, it was just a full-on self-insert character.
Hmm.
And I mean, there were definitely differences between the character I was writing and my real personality.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is funny to watch that change. Oh, because I remember one detail I would change is I made her age older the older I got. So like when I
Ah.
started writing the story, I think she was like 16. And by
Hmm.
the time I finished it, when I was in like ninth or 10th grade, she was like 18 or 19. I
Oh, so
changed I
she just
changed
kept
her
up with
age.
your age. That's
Yes, I changed it because I was like, now I'm too close to her age. It feels weird.
it's funny. If I can ever find it, I feel like I might have tossed it because I think it was dead. But I had all of my books that I had written and typed up. So I did go back through and I typed it up so I could print it out. Um, but I think the USB drive thing that I had, like the chip, died. So like it,
uh
and I only had a chunk of it printed, and so it's like
yeah.
or written. I had only had a chunk of it written that I could find. It's like fuck. So I had like half the book written, and I'm like, I know what
Mm.
happens in the rest. I don't remember exactly how it happens though, and it's like, all right,
Yeah.
yeah.
To all the middle schoolers and high schoolers listening to this right now, take your art and writing and put it in a folder
Mhm.
and put it somewhere you're not going to touch. Because I threw away so much work that I wish I could still look at. It's okay that it's cringy. It's okay that it's like not perfect. That's what makes it special. Like,
Yes.
don't get rid of it just because it's not perfect. It's really cool to get to look back on it because it shows how much growth you've made. And there's going to be genuine moments where you look at it and be like, damn, I really had an interesting thought there. And then yeah. So if you don't trust yourself to keep it, give it to a parent or something. Cause my mom managed to save some of my stuff.
Oh, nice.
Um, cause yeah. So save your stuff. It's worth it. And then look at it like in your mid 20s, because then it'll be sweet. you know? Because I
Yeah.
think sometimes when you look at things in our late teens, you're like, oh, it's just cringy and bad. But then you look at things when you're a little older than that, and you're like, oh, this is lovely.
I should go find some of my old artwork. I should try to do the trend where I take an old piece I did and like redo it, and
Yes, 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 yes.
I'd have to
That'd be
find
awesome.
something though. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think I have a folder of old art, or at least like a sketchbook somewhere, probably. But yeah, I don't know about writing though. I think that's the only thing I don't have saved off somewhere. I have schoolwork, I have Japanese notes in a folder somewhere, but yeah.
There's a short story I wrote when I was in 11th grade that I actually still really like the story of, though I've gone back and looked at the actual words I wrote, and it needs a lot of work. Like some
Mm,
sentences are clunky, or like some things can be clear, some dialogue can be better like matched to the characters.
yeah,
But it started as a dream I had where the main character wakes up in this giant collector ship that has a bunch of samples from different planets, and it's not supposed to collect intelligent life, it's only supposed to collect unintelligent life, so it's full of a bunch of different plants and animals and stuff. And there's an indentured servant who's working on the ship that stumbles across her and hides her, so that they won't find her and terminate her, because they're like, oh, it's an error, we have to get rid of it.
yeah.
But that's the premise to it, and shenanigans ensue. But that was one that I was like, oh, I kind of like this. This is something I would like to read myself. Um, but yeah,
Trying to remember what my big one was. It was she does die. She dies because she did something.
a lot of main character deaths in your work, Chelsea. Can't help but notice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to keep my lips sealed about your actual series so I don't spoil it for anyone. But
uh, yeah, but those one were heartbreaking. This one was less heart. I mean, it was meant to be heartbreaking and
sometimes death isn't
difficult,
the
but
end, and that's
mm-hmm.
also a thing.
Yeah. It was a vampire story. I didn't know that much. I'm trying to remember. It was like, okay, it was a vampire story. She runs into it. Got very like House of Night y, I think. Is that what the name of that anime was?
I would not know.
Oh my god. Yeah. She like goes to this place and then she turns into a vampire. And she has to go learn about it. So she goes to like a night school. Oh, it's also like a different series. I drew inspiration from like books I was reading at the time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for sure. And then I made my own twist on it. But yeah, no, she goes through, she falls in love, she meets a vampire, like, family, home kind of thing. And then something happens. I don't remember what. And her soul shatters, I think is what it was.
Ah, yes.
So that was like the
Hate
last
it when that
amount.
happens.
You're right. Such an
I'm starting to
inconvenience.
sense some things that may have made it into your later works, Chelsea.
A little bit.
A little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
Much better in my later works.
Oh, much better.
This one was like, I don't think you've ever seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right?
I've heard of it, but not actually
Okay.
watched it myself.
Vampires who have humanity, have a soul kind of thing, and so they're good. They don't do, the things that you would expect vampires to do necessarily. Uh, well, because her soul shattered, she lost her humanity, so then she just went like feral. And then
Oh.
I did the thing early on where it would switch perspectives and it would go to
Yep.
the main love interest and him
That's
trying
what
to
I did
hunt
in
her
my book
down.
too. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
And because
I'm
I can't
sensing.
find it, I will spoil the ending. He finally,
Here
like,
we
he
go.
spends all this time hunting her down, and finally he finds her. And the second he finds her, I believe there was an actual vampire hunter in this series, like a bloodline of hunters. Found her at the same time and shot her through the chest with a flaming arrow, and she died. and then somebody calls him and is
Damn.
like, "Hey, uh, we broke the thing, like we fixed it," and he's like,
Holy
"Yeah, well, it
shit.
was too late," and he slams the phone down. It's like,
Jesus,
yeah, I
that's
remember
dark.
that.
Not only is it sad that her death happened, it was needless. So that's like even more fucking dark. Now I'm feeling better about the way my story was dark.
Yeah, mine can get dark in a different way.
Yeah, my character was suicidal in the second book.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
but there were complex reasons for that.
Mhm.
But it is interesting because that theme of the love interest tracking someone down and like being at odds with the main character is also a theme in your newest idea, and I think that's really common for
Oh,
writers
like
and
the
artists
new
and
new one. Yeah,
creators.
yeah,
New, yeah, the new
yeah.
one.
It's like,
Yeah,
what do
I
you?
think
Yeah,
it's really
yeah,
common for us to be telling the same, themes, like, because we're attracted to those ideas, like how I was really, into sci-fi. And so a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
themes of sci-fi were common throughout my writing because that's what I was into.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that is quite
Mine will always
cool.
be in the fantasy realm, one way or another. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just yeah, I like it too much, and that's also where I've written all of my works in is just in a fantasy realm. So
Nice.
yeah, yay.
It's a good place to live. I like the themes that you write about. I think they're fun. I think they're done uh in a really interesting way. I don't really have writing as a hobby. I stopped having writing as a hobby around 12th grade or so, and I don't really miss it. I just enjoy reading other people's works.
Mhm.
I still will go to fantasy land, like made up stories, mostly in kind of the sci-fi realm. Um, but I don't have the same like desire to completely tell my own unique thing anymore. And that's okay. That is okay.
At
I
least
I
you
don't
have friends
it
like
would
me
take
who are
so
shoving
long.
works at you to read. So it's like, here, you I
Yes.
think this.
Yes. Yeah, no, I will. Well, now I'm gonna probably have to start over reading yours because
Oh,
the
that's fine.
details of all the characters' relationships
And to be fair,
and
I went through and
arcs.
edited it.
Yeah,
So
so it'll
there
be it'll be
are
new and
changes.
improved.
Yes.
Yeah, I might wait until so you've finished book 1 and book 2, you're working on book 3, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like 20
Yeah.
or 30 pages into book 3. Yeah.
Nice. I might wait until book 3 is all the way done and just read it again from the start so I can get the full experience of the trilogy and like trace the characters' growth and changes in relationships over the um three pieces. But yeah, it's really fun to get to share stories with other people, works you've written yourself, works other people have written. It's a fun. I like to escape reality because sometimes reality can be shit.
It's great.
So
That's why, like, when my friend bought me that book, I was like, "Ooh, a new book," because I read the same few series over and over again because I have my favorites. I'm like, I know I like these. I enjoy the adventure, and so I'll read through it. I like this one too, and now that I finished it, I need to go get the next 2 books. Yay!
yeah, I think the next book I'm probably gonna read is it's by Andy Weir, the guy that did The Martian, because Lacey recommended another book he wrote, and it's recently been turned into a movie. And so I'm probably gonna get an ebook of that and read it.
Or are
Oh, I
you
have
still
another
gonna
book.
check out the series that I keep suggesting to
Yes,
people?
yes. Um,
uh,
that one is called um
oh, the sci-fi one.
no, the one that you're talking about. The first book is like
Oh, I think it's City of Ashes is the first one,
okay,
I believe.
okay. I did not write it down successfully. And then
Mm.
I'll also place a hold on this one.
So you could just look up Mortal Instruments. Let me make sure that I'm pretty sure Ashes is the first one. Pretty sure.
I went through a phase when I was in high school in which I didn't want to read stories about people that were younger than me because I guess I felt like either like threatened by it or something. Like I just only wanted to read people older. And then by the
It's
time I
so
was like
weird.
22, 23, I was like, that's pretty stupid. And I started reading a bunch
Oh,
of stories again of teens and tweens and embracing it again, especially when it's written well.
City of Bones is the first one. City of Ashes is the second one.
Hey, excellent, excellent. I will take a look.
Yeah.
I'll place a hold. The current thing I'm reading is a webcomic called My Name is Benny, which I think I maybe
Oh,
recommended on the pod.
maybe.
Everyone should read it. It's not behind a paywall, which a lot of
A
web comics are. Art style, amazing. Characters, adorable, quirky. It's like a fictional slice of life with sweetness and comedy and a little bit of drama at times. So if you're
Oh.
looking for something that's really casual and easy to enjoy on your work break, like I am, I'm scared to scroll to the bottom to see how much I have left. Because I've been like reading it for my last like 4 lunch breaks, and I know I must be running out, but I'm in
Oh.
denial.
You're in
So
denial.
I'm in denial. I'm just gonna. There's even some romance in it. If
Ooh.
anyone's looking for a little bit of romance, there's some romance in
Yeah, I
there.
want to make a webcomic so bad. I started doing like an actual comic book back in college as one of my
Oh hell
projects.
yeah!
Yeah, printed the pages and everything. That was intense, but
I fucking love
yeah,
comics. I would read every comic. I'd be up to date on all of them.
yeah. Oh man, maybe one day I'll make a webcomic on one of my works or something, and I'll be like, all right, here you go. Now you can visualize the characters or something too. That is
Yeah.
based off my own brain. I don't know
Yeah,
about the
no,
movie.
I really feel for webcomic artists though because they have deadlines, whether they
Mm-hmm.
release most of them release weekly. That means you have to come up with something and draw it and finalize it and post it in a week, every
Yep.
week. And so whenever they put like a placeholder one, like of just like this time it's just doodles or this time it's just, like me talking about the fact that I don't have any comic ideas. I'm like, that's okay. I don't expect you to come up with something brilliant every week. And so shout out to all the comic artists out there putting in the hours for not that much pay.
Yeah, unless they manage to make it and then they like get all their works put into a book and that takes off. Yeah, it's not
Yeah. Though I mean you don't really have to be published in paper to make money off comics nowadays if you can get
true.
a deal with one of the major webcomic um peeps, but that's of course a very slim amount of people.
Yeah. Yeah. But good luck to the people trying to make it out there for that because
Oh my
I
god, I
can see it being
suddenly
done.
remember Rachel and I when we were in probably early high school played around with the idea of making a comic together. It was 4 high school students in a sci-fi universe that were going to school together, and they are testing out this experimental VR technology, and things go
Oh.
wrong.
Oh.
And so yeah, we sketched out like the first chapter or so and then didn't work on it anymore, but it was fun. We had fun with it because I can't draw. So what I would do is I would write in all the text and like sketch out where I wanted the characters to be, and then I would give it to her and she would like actually fucking
Yeah.
draw it because she could draw.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, laying out a comic page is also fun because it's fun and it can be challenging because you need to be able to like get the eye to flow correctly with how you want the
Yeah.
page to go.
And it
Yeah.
looks so different in paper versus on a phone because when you're designing a webcomic to be able to read on a phone, you need the text to be very large
Mm-hmm.
um, compared to the drawings. And so you have to get very creative about your placement of text and characters. And the picture has to be vertical. Occasionally, especially with the more artistic webcomics I read, they will do part of a panel that's meant to be So you
Horizontal.
have to for those ones, you have to lock your phone so that they won't rotate, and then
Yeah.
you're like, "All right, I'm gonna read this part horizontal." And for those ones, I really try to take a moment to soak in the art because I know that they spent hours on that. I'm like, "I'm gonna appreciate that shit. Nice work. You did some good work on that." And webcomics can be pretty short because maybe just like 3 to 5 panels because you've got to post them pretty frequently, and they tend to be a simpler art style, which I think is totally fine, especially because I'm very guilty of literally just reading the words and then scrolling to the next panel, and I'm kind of feel bad because I know they worked hard on drawing all the characters' emotions. So thank you to all
Yeah.
the comic artists for making a ton of content. I really enjoy it.
You are appreciated.
Yes. Especially because a lot of it's free. There's ads, of course.
Of course.
Um, but like, yeah, I know that that is a tough economic system to be under.
Any amount of like self-expression creation, it can be rough. Like even in the art world, it can be rough. Some people obviously take off out easier than others, but writing can be challenging because obviously you have your peers and you're like, here, read the thing. But then trying to get it in front of other people's eyes or trying to get a publisher to even look at you and be like, maybe. Like, maybe we'll
Yeah.
look at it. Yeah. Which is why self publishing
No.
is turned so hot because like, people
Yeah.
can't get into the
Then you have
books.
other ways of marketing it. You can get it on like TikTok or YouTube Shorts,
Hmm.
or
God,
you can decide
I don't want to be on book talk. Don't.
it.
I don't think I'll end up on book talk only because I see, and this is no real shade to book talk, but the only part of book talk that I ever see is like the dark fantasy where the dude is like some dark fantasy romance and like there's a
Yes.
dude stalking
Yes.
another girl and then just like and like I can't stop.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's fair.
there is an audience. I'm
Oh,
not so
yes.
much that audience. I mean, like in little bits. I don't need a whole novel that is that.
I have read my share of trashy romance webtoons. So I am part of that audience. Though some of them are so not well written that I just drop them. You have to have something unique in your story to keep
Oh
me.
yeah.
Like if it's too played out, like I'm like, no, no, there's nothing interesting here. But most of them have something going for them.
That's good. They have some
I've
sort of
I've
unique twist.
Yeah, I've stopped being into stories in which the male love interest is just a complete dick to the female.
Mm-hmm.
At least like for no clear reason. I don't mind if the guy is kind of cold or distant. That's fine. But if he's openly just an asshole for no reason, like I mean, I know that some people enjoy that, especially like watching the character growth of him not being an asshole anymore. But
Yeah.
I'm not there to listen to a guy be a jerk. I don't have time for that.
Um. Yowie was telling me about one of the series that she got into, and it was good, it was good, it was good, and then she started to like just get annoyed by the main girl. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Your character has to be interesting and likable enough to keep our attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they go through a phase where they're like being annoying, they can do it for a short period of time.
But they need to come back to being
Short
not.
period of time is the key word there.
Yeah. That can't be their new personality trait. It's not gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, and speaking of character development, we're gonna go on to the Patreon, and I'm going to talk about Mistborn since I finished it.
Ooh, Mistborn time.
Oh,
Mistborn time.
it was good. All right, peace out, everybody. We will catch you next week, or we will catch you in the Patreon. Bye.
Bye.